Hey everybody, welcome back to the Plays and Fades YouTube channel. I'm your host, GordoGambles, and welcome back to another full card breakdown, this time for UFC Vegas 60. And this is a very, very fun card. 14 fights. You got an incredible main event between Corey Sandhagen and Song Yadong. It is going to be an electrifying night of fights. And you know what? I just got done breaking down the card from a DraftKings perspective, and I thought it'd be a great way to segue into this and talk about some bets, talk about some DraftKings once again. It's a very, very fun card. And with all this volume, all these amount of fights, all these crazy lines we have, I thought there was no better guest to bring on than the line sniper himself, the guy who's been always the first one to get on there. If you look at Bet MMA Tips, his name is there, and he actually took the time out of his schedule because he does have another live stream in a couple hours from now. So I'm very happy to introduce Mike from the CouchWarriorPod. How are we doing, my friend?
Muted myself. What's up, Gordo? Thank you for having me on, brother. I appreciate it big time, and I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, no problem, man. We had a stream. What card was that? Was that the Physique card we came on? We talked fights together.
It was a while back on my channel, yeah.
Yeah, we had some good success. It was a good time, and I thought it'd be a great way to introduce you to the channel. I thank you for the time to take the time off to chat some fights. We got 14 of them, so you know what? Let's not waste any more time. As always, I'm going to throw up the fights here. I like to break down the odds because you know what? That's the most important part. And before I get going here, just let the people know what you do, where to find you, and what got you into this kind of thing.
Yeah, guys. I'm Mike. If you don't already know me, my channel is the Couch Warrior Podcast on YouTube. I do weekly breakdowns every single week. I try to bring on guests, smart guests, sharp guests such as Gordo. You know, he's been on my show. That was a dope time. So make sure to check me out. I'm actually going live at 10:30 tonight with James from Lucrative MMA. So that should be a good time. Make sure to tune in for that. And Fridays, I do my Dana White Contender Series show. Right now, that's my big thing, my main attraction, I would say. Try to be on top of the lines. I've been literally waiting for the Contender Series 9 lines all day long today. They said, fuck you, Mike, and they didn't give them to me. So I'm going to have to wait and hope for tomorrow. But yeah, that's me. Thank you guys for watching me and Gordo. And thanks for having me again, Gordo.
For sure. And not only thank you for coming up, but thank you to everybody in the chat so far. Mushroom Ball is one of the first people here. I'll get him his parlays for sure. I know he wants those. But let's get right into it. Very first fight of the night is a fun one. Cameron Van Camp, Nicholas Mata. Nicholas Mata record of 12-4. Cameron Van Camp 15-6-1. And their last times out, both of them have succumbed to knockout losses. And this is a very, very fun fight. You know what? You're the guest. Let's let you break it down first. How do you see this one going down?
Yeah, man, this one's interesting because it's actually this was supposed to happen on short notice, like a while ago. I don't remember how long ago, quite a while ago. Mushroom saying, what's up, Mike? What's up, Mushroom? Appreciate you, brother. But yeah, this fight was supposed to happen. And the first time, the line was actually very similar. It opened the same. It was like plus 200 on Van Camp, minus whatever on Mata. And I took Van Camp then, and I took Van Camp now again. Look, first of all, if you've watched me on my channel ever before, or you've seen me on whatever, I love size bullies. I'm a firm believer in size bullying. I think that it does make a difference. And realistically, Van Camp is going to be much, much bigger here. He's 5 inches taller. He's got a 4-inch reach advantage. And he's not some, you know, he's pretty bad at striking, but I'd say he's bad defensively at striking. Offensively, I think he's just fine. He's shown some good things. He hurt Fialho. He put together good combinations there. I thought, like, I remembered it just being one lucky punch, but it wasn't. It wasn't. He was actually landing on Fialho. So he's not completely out of water in the striking, and he's bigger. So I think that he's going to be all right there. And then you look at the grappling, and it's a clear edge for Van Camp. I mean, Mota doesn't grapple. He defensively grapples, sure. But Van Camp is the grappler here. He's the submission artist. He's got, what, like 8 or 9 submissions on his record? I've got 9. He's got a really clean back take. Look, can he get chinned? Hell yeah, he can get chinned. He very well might get chinned. But I got Van Camp at plus 211. I'm looking at the odds you put up now. I'm surprised, honestly. I'm surprised that many people are on Van Camp. Plus 180, I guess, is playable. But anything lower than that, I would just stay away, honestly. I like Van Camp as a big dog, but once we're talking a closer line, that's when I'm starting to get a bit more unsure. But I played Van Camp for a half unit, and I'll probably sprinkle a sub in there. I actually haven't even looked at that yet. But yeah, that's me, Gordo.
Hey, man, I completely agree. Van Camp sub sitting at plus 400. That's not a bad number. And I really like the way you broke this fight down. I think it's pretty simple. I think if we look at the better minute winner, the better mixed martial artist, the guy with more tools is going to be Cameron Van Camp. Not only that, but the anthropomorphic advantages, the size, the reach. It's really a question of can he survive? Because the one thing he lacks is defensive striking, and that is his biggest problem. And not only is that going to be a problem against a guy, Nicholas Mata, who possesses a lot of power, but you're dropping down in weight. You're going to be having that weight cut. So it's a tough one to really trust him. And that's why I don't really want to play him at this line, especially when the line moves as much as it does. Now, there's two things. First of all, when the line moves as much as this does here, the best part about it is the line is not moving on DraftKings. As a DraftKings player as myself, Van Camp still 6.9K. I will have a lot of ownership as a dog. I think he not only has the opportunity to check Mata himself, but he has the grappling, has a submission, has a minute winning. He will be the all-around better mixed martial artist until he takes a punch to the chin, in my opinion. Where it gets really interesting is I know both Mike and I are in the Lock of the Night challenge, and you guys are probably here for my Lock of the Night because we've been lucky recently. But this is one where I have two options, and we're going to talk about one of them. This is one of them where I might throw the glasses on. I might make this the lock of my night because you know what? These are the lock of the night glasses, Mike, by the way. I put these on whenever I do. And I'm not going to put them on yet because I'm not completely sure. I haven't locked it in yet. But what's really, really enticing, what I'm really close to making it, this line right here. Under 2.5, minus 150. That is the closest thing I have to playing in this spot. I think it's easy. I think Van Camp, or Mata's best win condition is finding the chin of Van Camp, and that is definitely a possibility. But it's not like Mata has been finished. He's been finishing all of his losses. Van Camp does have power. Van Camp does have grappling. Under 2.5, minus 150, it is really close to being my lock of the night, and I will definitely be betting it nonetheless. What do you think of that one?
Honestly, I like it a lot because I have a hard time seeing this go to decision, right? Like if you tell me Nicholas Mata is going to win, I'm going to assume it's a KO. And if you tell me Van Camp's going to win, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a sub, but I'd say inside the distance more than likely. So minus 150, I mean, I'd be surprised if we get that on the books that we can bet on. Do you have Betway over in Canada, Gordo?
I do have a bet already locked in on this.
You are so lucky. Nice. That's sweet.
But yeah, I think I'm not the firmest of believers compared to other people that I'm not going to mention, but I am one who likes to believe in narratives and those kind of things. And one of the things I do believe in is they like to open the card up with violence. Just look at the Altamirano versus De Silva fight when I was there live at 278. It's a spot where I think they're looking to bring in the crowd with those early fights, make people show up for the early prelims, and I think this is the fight to do so. I think this is a very, very violent affair. Let's move on. Next fight up is a fun one. Javid Bashrat, 12-0. Tony Gravely, 23-7. We look at the guy in Bashrat. His brother just fought yesterday in Dynamite Contender Series 1. They both have fights in UFC now, both UFC fighters. I think this is a very, very fun fight for me. And from a DraftKings perspective, it's one that I'm definitely targeting because, in my opinion, this can go two ways. I think it's either going to be a finish for Javid Bashrat, finding the chin of Tony Gravely, catching him on the ground like Gravely's been caught many times before, and winning by finish. I think that Gravely's path to victory is a dominant wrestling decision, and in doing so, will score a lot very well on DraftKings. The one bet I had circled and I really, really wanted to play is the Bashrat finish only line. The one where if there's a finish, it's on the Bashrat side. If it goes the distance, there's no bet at all. However, that line was inflated. I think it's minus 275 now. I have not played that. This is a spot where I'm tempted just to play the dog in Gravely on DraftKings and leave it at that. I have no action fight from a betting perspective. Try to change my mind, man. What do you got in this fight?
I won't change your mind for Bashrat, that's for sure. So I am on Bashrat. I'll start with that. But I got him at minus 110 when they were pick 'em pretty much. And there I felt comfortable because I do think that I'm a Gravely guy. I bet Gravely all the time. He's made me quite a bit of money. And I'm a believer. He's a really good wrestler. And because of that, he can be reckless on the feet. He can wing. He can do his thing. He carries big power. And his boxing's not terrible. It's not. So to make him such a big underdog over a guy like Bashrat, who, if you look at his tape, who's really tested his grappling? Nobody. Nobody's tested his grappling yet. I tried really hard to find somebody who really pushed him, and there was nobody. So this is going to be the first time where he is going to have to deal with a really legit grappler. I think that his scrambling ability is very legit. I think Bashrat's going to be difficult to hold down. He's also really big. So yeah, I do think Bashrat can keep it on the feet for the most part. I think he can win those striking exchanges. He's got way more weapons on the feet. I mean, we're talking wrestle boxer versus a guy who's extremely technical and clinical on the feet. And I also think Bashrat's live for a sub, right? You look at Gravely, and what does he constantly do? He sticks his freaking neck in your armpit and says, guillotine me. And what did his last opponent do? He tried to guillotine him like 4 or 5 times, and he got freaking tight in there. You give Bashrat that opportunity, like he's going to probably submit you, man. Like he probably will. So I liked Bashrat at the odds I got. Now at minus 165, 170. Personally, if I was betting now, I'd probably take Gravely, but Bashrat sub also interests me. I do think Bashrat wins. I just think the line's off. I think Gravely's got a super clear path here. Like I've spoken about this before. When I take dogs, I want a clear path, and I think Gravely does have one. So I can't blame anyone there. I am on Bashrat minus 110 though. Follow me, Couch Warrior Pod, if you want those early line hits. I post them. So
Hey, dude, you definitely do indeed. And great line on this spot, because that is all very gone by now. It's minus 170 right now, as you can see on the screen. And I tend to agree. I tend to think that the most likely finish equity is coming from that Bashrat side. I think if I want to play him now, I'm looking at the inside of the distance line, because it's very, very likely that, you know what, Graves is going to be able to wrestle him and keep him down there. So it's a dangerous spot. I have no action so far. The official pick is going to be Javid Bashrat by submission. I can like that spot. I'm glad we agree on that. However, Gravely on DraftKings, Bashrat finish only. Those are two sides I'd like as well. Not one I'm doing with too much conviction. I do think it's a very, very fun fight, though. All right, moving on. Next, super, super fun fight. Great matchmaking there. All right, next up, Daniel Zuhelber making his UFC debut, fresh off the Dynamite Contender Series. 12-0. Trey Ogden, 15-5. Zellhuber, undefeated prospect. Everything's looking really good for him, and he is on the way up. Everything is looking on the bright side. Everyone's really high on him, and it's the same cannot be said for Trey Ogden. Trey Ogden, 15-5, very, very lackluster fight last time out against Jordan Leavitt, a fight that he lost. We're not going to get into the decision. He didn't do what he should have done to win the fight. I don't think you can complain if you're Trey Ogden. I think you have to fight better than that. It is a spot where I think they're feeding Trey Ogden to the dogs. I don't think that he's going to be able to get a lot of his stuff off. I think he's in a really, really tough situation here in terms of not only the striking, but the grappling and all that stuff. I think it's Zellhuber's fight to lose. I think it's his ability to showcase his abilities, not only on the feet, not only his abilities on the ground as a black belt as well. I think it's Zellhuber all day. And I know what you're going to say about the line here soon. I think you got a spot on this, but I know Mushroom agrees with me. He's on the inside the distance here. I don't mind that. Zellhuber's my favorite DraftKings cash play. And overall, I think he rolls here. You tend to agree, or are you on the Ogden side?
Definitely not on Ogden, but I will say this. I think you got to be bugging and play Zellhuber at minus 305. Again, this is another example of a guy we haven't seen challenged all that much. In his Almeida fight in the first round, like he was losing that fight. Almeida gassed, and then he won. But realistically, he lost that first round. So Zellhuber, while we think super highly of him, he's not some like unbeatable prospect. Like I'm not seeing that like other people are. When the line first opened, believe it or not, I don't even think they're showing it anymore on Bet Online, but Zellhuber was plus 134 when that line opened. And I was holding that. I was looking at that play, and I was like, I hesitated big time. They're not even showing it. They're not even showing my line. I got minus 119 for 2 units. I'll post my ticket so people don't start saying shit. But yeah, I got minus 119. That I love. I do think Zellhuber covers Ogden everywhere. I do. I think he's a much better striker. He's got great takedown defense. And you look at Ogden, I mean, I remember when Levitt was fighting Patty, I did the math, right? I have it on my notes because I love this stat. It's so crazy to me. I'm going to pull it up real quick if you don't mind.
No worries.
Yeah, so Levitt in that fight landed 69 significant strikes. Gordo, how many of those were leg kicks?
Oh, I know he like almost broke a record. There wasn't it like 62 of them or something like that?
I think he did break a record, but it was 52 leg kicks. Out of 69 strikes, out of 69 significant strikes, he landed 52 leg kicks, and he landed so that means 17 punches. And Ogden just let him do it. Like, that is just, what are you doing, man? And not only that, you also get outstruck 69-38 against Jordan Levitt. You get one takedown. Like, yeah, there's not much to love about Ogden here. I do think the line's too wide. Realistically, like, this is another case where I went back and I tried to find Zellhuber being challenged in the grappling, and I couldn't find it. Like 3 or 4 fights ago, this random like regional guy was trying to take him down and had 0 success. But like that doesn't really tell me anything. Ogden, we can shit on him all we want. He does wrestle well and he does grapple well. He has 10 submission wins. So All I will say is just be careful parlaying Zellhuber up at minus 305. I don't think that's warranted personally, but that's just me.
Hey, I will be careful, but I do think out of everybody's, you know what, win condition, aside from the Joe Pfeiffer side, this is my favorite money line spot in terms of if I had to pick somebody. I know we have those Sean Bitter lock of the week challenges, whatever. I think that this is a spot where he does cover this price tag. That being said, I said that about Jake Collier last week. So it's a spot where you have to worry about it. You have to be careful. I just do think that Zellhuber has him covered everywhere here. If Trey Ogden wants to prove something we haven't seen, good for him. Go do it. I would be happy to see it. Until I see it, though, I can't get behind him. I think it's Zellhuber all day. I'm very, very jealous of that line. All right, let's move along. Shout out to Eric in the chat. He's been on the show.
Yo, my guy Eric.
Eric. What a
Eric's
guy, man. All right, next fight up. I skipped over him on Tapology, but this is the way it's left on best fight odds. We got Canadian. First Canadian of three this card? Oh, yeah, three this card. Three last week, three this week. Let's go. Maria Agapova, 10-3. Jillian Robertson, 10-7. You got to think this is a classic striker versus grappler matchup, don't you think? How do you see this one going down?
Yeah, man. So I snagged Agapova at plus 115 and thought I was getting a steal. And silly me, it's going the other way still. You can get much better odds already. Plus 120. What is that? Plus 128 on Bet Online. Yeah, look, I think that I say this all the time. We as MMA gamblers are the most fickle, short-term memoried people on the planet. Maria Agapova was a favorite in her last fight against Marina Moroz, who in my opinion is a better grappler than Julian Robertson. So just wanted to point out how I really do think so, Gordo. But regardless, I think it's being overblown how bad Agapova can be. I get people don't trust her. She's young. She's got bad fight IQ. And I'll say this. I'm the first person to hate on her on a fan level. I do not like Agapova. I'm not a fan. I was fully supporting Marina Moroz. I posted about this before. There's this crazy video of Agapova online. You guys can look it up yourselves where she's like it's like a parking lot and there's this dude in his car and Agapova is just bugging out at him that he took her phone and he's holding his own phone, videotaping her. And she's screaming, "Hi, my followers. He took my phone." And it was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. And I'm saying all this just to say you can't let that affect your bets. You can't. I think that Agapova is really she's got quite a bit of a size advantage here, right? She's 1 inch taller, so that's not much, but 5-inch reach advantage. She's 2 years younger, and she's a significantly better striker than Jillian Robertson. Even in the Priscilla Cachoeira fight, Robertson was not doing well in those striking exchanges. She had to take it to the ground. I think that as long as Agapova's going to get taken down. I don't think she's going to get held down. I think she's going to get up. I think she's going to outstrike Robertson. I think she's probably going to win a decision. I think maybe a finish is live. I'm personally not going to play that, but I do like Agapova. At this point, I would just say sit and wait because it looks like the public loves Robertson, but I'm on the Agapova side. How about you?
You know what, man? It's a very, very fun fight. The first time I saw this fight, I circled and I put violence, and that was what I was going to target. Really, I do my research, and I don't think I'm going to get there necessarily. Of course, the first thing you look at is that striker versus grappler matchup, right? You have the much better striker in Maria Agapova. You have the much better grappler in Jillian Robertson. The problem with Jillian Robertson has always been getting it there. Is she able to close the distance? Is she able to use her wrestling to her advantage in order to get it to the ground? Because there's no denying she's an amazing grappler, but you need to be able to wrestle in order to get it there. And you know what? From all I'm seeing, she's been improving it. And I don't necessarily think that Maria Agapova's takedown defense is strong enough to the point where I can back her with extreme confidence, because I do think at this spot, if you're holding an Agapova, which you are, you have to be confident in her defensive abilities, because there's no problem she has that offensive output, but can she fend off those takedowns? Can she fend off the grappling on the ground? Because I am pretty high on Roberson's grappling. I think she's a great grappler. So I think you need to be confident in that, right?
Canadian bias. Canadian bias.
We got the Canadian jerseys right there. Come on.
What are you, Canadian or something, Gordo?
No, do I put it enough? I don't know. I think it's a spot where you have to go out there and you have to really look at this as a binary fight. And then you have to see where's the difference. Where's the closest gap? Is the gap in the striking wider, or is the gap in the wrestling wider? And in my opinion, I think that if Robertson's doing as much training as I think she is, that line is a bit wider. I think that Robertson's going to know exactly what she has to do to take her down, and I think that she does win this fight. Official prediction is going to be Julian Robertson. With that being said,
sorry, Gordo, you really think that the grappling is wider than the striking?
Mostly because I think that it's a lot easier to strike when you're both laying down, and I think that the fight will not be won't be standing for long enough. So the first instinct for me was violence, and I still think that is going to be the lean. However, the more and more I think about it, the more the line is juiced. I think that, you know what, actually right here, over 1.5 is actually questionable look for me, because it's right here. It's only minus 150, and that's why
crazy. I'm going to play that. I'm going to play that literally right now.
It's a spot where you have to think they're going to be contested a lot in the spots. It has to be a close fight, and they have been training together, right? So I don't know. I think that
I really don't think it ends in under 1.5. I really don't think so. That line is ridiculous to me.
For sure. And you know what? Like in the striking, you have to think, yeah, Agapova is the better striker. But you can only strike for so long if someone's looking to wrestle. And I think that training with her and working with her, Robertson knows her weaknesses and knows that's going to be on the ground. And therefore, I would count on her to do that. All right. I like that fight.
Real quick, really Gordo. Sorry, brother. Could I just respond to MMA Jesus real quick?
For sure.
Yeah. So how did I get access to parlays for the next card on Bet Online? Wasn't Bet Online. Bet MMA. I typed these things in. If you look, most of those parlays are, I believe it was DraftKings. Any of them that say Bet Online or I see Bet Safe, that was just an accident. I put the wrong book. All of those plays for next week's cards, all of those, that round robin that you're looking at, MMA Jesus, that is just on DraftKings. You can do that on DraftKings already. Sorry about the confusion. It's very difficult to edit our plays on Bet MMA once they're in. You have to email the guy. So yeah, it's on DraftKings. I apologize for that, brother. I just wanted to clear that up.
And if you wanted to know any more about that, I think you did mention it on your Twitter. So it should be something that, you know what, just follow your Twitter, man. All right. No, that's a really, really fun fight. I think it's really going under the radar too. I think on DraftKings perspective, you have a fight that's probably going to be a violent affair. The winner is probably going to score well, whether it be a striking affair or a grappling affair. Whoever is prominent in those domains is probably going to go over and score pretty well. But no, official prediction is going to be Julian Robertson, but I'm not seeing too much prediction. I might just sit back and cheer for some Canada.
I love how much we're disagreeing, Gordo. This is way more fun than when we
It's unusual. It's unusual.
This is way more fun.
And you know what?
Way more fun.
I don't know how much we're going to disagree on this next one, though. This next one is, you know what? I'm actually excited to hear your thoughts on this one. Loma Lookboomy, 6-3. Denise Gomez, 6-1. The line is wide, but what's wider is the DraftKings style. Do you play any DraftKings, my friend?
I do. I'm not nearly as good as you, but even I recognize 9,500 Loma as being absolutely, it doesn't make any sense.
No. It does not.
And you would know this. Has she ever scored to the point where she would cover that in any fight?
No, she has not. Let me pull up the exact number. She has never put up above. Her highest score was 91 points. In her win, she has scored 91, 65, and 77.
How bad do they think that Gomez is?
No, it's a weird one. So it's a spot where I'm picking her to win. I think she wins this fight, but nowhere near on DraftKings. I don't think she covers that price tag. If I want to pay up and get what is she now? Minus 200. Oh, that line has changed. It's huge.
It's almost playable at this point. A little bit more.
It is.
A little bit more.
Yeah, but if it gets to minus 150, I will be playing her minus 160. For me, I wrote this down as a huge pass, not only from a DraftKings perspective, from a betting perspective. I just think that despite Loma Lookboomy being the better fighter, she's not good enough to justify that 9.5K price tag, justify the minus 300 price tag. And I think that she does win this fight, however, not convincingly enough. And we all know the struggling of judges recently, right? So I think it's a spot where give me women to win, give me a pass fight. And after the really exciting fights we just talked about, this is one where you can go grab a drink, you can go relax. I don't want to say I'm not looking forward to it because it's a fight. I'm happy to be able to watch them, but it's definitely one where there are better fights in the card. How do you see this one going down?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be grabbing my White Claws during this fight for sure. But Yeah, I mean, look, you broke it down beautifully. Like, I'm going to be playing Loma if she gets down below minus 200, without a doubt, probably. What this comes down to for me is, look, is Loma really doing that much to win minutes where she's going to be like minus 220, minus 200 against someone like Denise Gomez? No, I don't think so. Like, I was watching Loma, and her Muay Thai is so good, but her output is kind of crap. She only really throws kicks and like jabs from distance. Otherwise, she's really depending on that clinch. Her clinch game is nasty. I mean, she's a Muay Thai specialist, been doing it since like 7 years old, if I remember John Anik correctly. She's a very legit striker. And you look at her losses, right? Who she lost to, Loma? She's lost to Lupi Godinez, who is an elite grappler that Gomez is nothing like. And she lost to Angela Hill, who, say what you want, is a really good striker and a very well-rounded fighter, who I personally would favor over Gomez as well. So for me, because Gomez doesn't really grapple, I have to favor Loma. It's hard for me to say that it's hard for me to say that Gomez is going to come in here and have better striking than somebody who's been striking since they could read a book. Like, I can't do that. But if Loma gets down to minus 150, minus 175 even, I think she's playable because I do think she's the better striker. I don't think Gomez is getting her down. And I think if we're on the feet for 3 rounds, I have a hard time seeing Gomez winning this unless she just out-volumes her, which is possible. She has a better volume, yeah. But I'm on Loma here too.
Yeah, and you know what? I've been eyeing the decision line because that's really the way I see this fight going down. Loma has, one finish, and it's not like she possesses a ton of power. I think she's a point fighter, and she's good at that. It finally reached plus money. It's finally plus 105. However, I think if the line keeps climbing, it's going to only get better. If you want to play, Loma at all, just wait for the line to keep coming down. I think that's all it's doing. But again, get your White Claws in, get whatever you're drinking in here. I think there are better fights there. But all right, let's move on. You know what? Was that a back-to-back women's fights? No, we had Zellhuber fights in between.
It felt that way.
Yeah, I broke it down. I broke it down the wrong order. Shame on me. But it's a spot where we have a very, very interesting women's fight, in my opinion, and then a not so interesting women's fight, in my opinion. And actually, according to Tapology, the next fight is also a women's fight. The 9-3 Aspen Ladd and the 13-6 Sarah McMahon. And I'll tell you for a fact, Mike, I just came from the Pub Sport Radio DFS breakdown, and I heard some very, 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 very convincing arguments on one side. And I'm happy to hear your thoughts first. So you're the guest. I'll let you go first in this one. Take it over. How do you see this fight going down?
Yeah, man. First, I wanted to say, so if you guys have been following me for a minute, very few have. I used to do fantasy content. If you want DraftKings stuff, like legit stuff, the guy above me with the other 3, they kill it. They're so good at this stuff. And when one of them misses, the other ones don't miss that stuff. I watch it every week. I really think everybody should be watching that if you play DraftKings. Just want to say. So I'm going to put that out there. I do think I'm going to be on the same side as the people you're talking about. I am on Sarah McMahon. I went into this fight beforehand. So when the line first opened up, I almost hammered Ladd. Because what I was thinking was, Ladd is this big woman who Sarah McMahon's not necessarily used to. Ladd brings this aggression. Ladd, I thought, had better striking. And then I turned the tape on, and I watched the last fight against Carol Rosa for Sarah McMahon. And I haven't seen anyone say this yet, but Sarah McMahon had good striking in that fight, man. She had good striking. Like, I was looking at the stuff she was putting together on the feet, and it looked really good. She was going to the body. How often do you see women going to the body? Not with kicks, with her hands. She was hitting uppercuts to the body. She was mixing it to the head. The striking looked great. Carol Rosa is a legitimate fighter. She's a legitimate contender in the bantamweight weight class. She's no joke. And correct me if I'm wrong, Gordo, but I'm pretty sure Sarah McMahon was a underdog there. And she dominated. Yes. She dominated.
I was actually there live, and I had to listen to Liam Pick's fights right beside me.
You went live with Liam?
Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But no, it was a fun fight where Rosa was the favorite, and I think that Liam had Rosa, or I think we had the fight as in Gore or something like that, and McMahon played it perfectly. She was able to control her, win a lot of that stuff, and I had to hear him yell and all this stuff, and it was a really fun experience. But no, it was a fight where she was the underdog.
And I think she can do it again here, man. Like, I was looking at Ladd, and I wrote in my notes, I was like, what does she actually do? Do you have an answer to that question, Gordo? Because I don't. What does Lad do?
She's a weight bully usually.
Is that really going to help here? I don't know. Like, you look at the numbers, right? They're the same in terms of size. And then Lad is 15 years younger. 15 years younger. But Cara Rosa was also a lot younger. And that didn't really seem to matter. And like I said earlier, if I'm going to play it, Lad's not even a dog, right? So if I'm going to play a dog, I need to see a path. And I see a path for Mcmahon. So I am going to play her. I'm going to wait because I think we're going to get better odds. I think people are going to fade the older woman as the week goes on. People are going to parlay up Lad. I think we're going to get a better line, but I do think Mcmahon wins. Look, I think she's just as good of a striker, which is not something I'm hearing, but I really do think so. And the grappling is easily on her side. So she's got more weapons. She's got more ways to win. I got to take the dog here.
For sure. And I'm just going to address the chat real quick. I know Mushroom saying I'm killing it on DraftKings, and I really do appreciate that. But recently my focus has turned towards the lock of the night kind of thing and the betting aspect. I know Eric is sitting here saying he bet Mcmahon by decision. I'll give you that. But how do I say this without jinxing it? Maybe I'm knocking some wood, but I'm 22 for my last 23 lock of the night bets. And the one I missed was Dontel Mays. So if we don't count Dontel Mays,
Gordo, that's disgusting.
If we don't count Dontel Mays, the last time I lost a lock of the night bet was on the Sarah McMahon fight doesn't go the distance. And that was one I was pretty heavy on.
You can leave now, Gordo. You can leave. I'll handle the stream.
Oh, no. we got to keep going, man. I know we've disagreed enough. We got to keep going. But no, I gotta knock with some wind there. I gotta hope I don't choke. I gotta make sure I put these lock of the night glasses on sometime. But no, shout out to you, Eric, because I know you got the hat. But yeah, shout out to you, Eric, because I was definitely not on the decision there. So that was a good call for you. While you go grab that hat, I think I know what's coming here. Yeah, there it is. Yeah,
much better.
The hat, the signature. Yeah, while you went and go grab that, you know what? I think this is a spot where it's a really close one. And a lot of the time when I'm looking to play a dog that I want to be heavily invested in, I don't want to just go both sides because I know I'm going to have a lot of Sarah McMahon on DraftKings. Do I want to also wager a bet on her as well? Because that way I'm going to have all my eggs in one basket. I do think it's a very, very close fight. With the line keep on getting wider and wider, I'm more enticed to play Sarah McMahon because you have to think that she has the grappling, she has the wrestling, she has the top control. She's a very, very smart fighter. The only thing holding me and a lot of people back is that age. And has that big stigma right now. And it's true. She's 42 years old. I know we're both young guys, but she could definitely kick my ass. That's for sure. No, Sarah McMahon, although she is older, she showed a very good account for herself last time out. And I was able to witness that live. And it was very, very, you know what? I was very impressed by her performance. I think this is a spot where she's able to get those takedowns. She's able to win those first two rounds at a very, very high clip, in my opinion. You know what? She's got an amazing wrestling background, and I do think that she can use that to her advantage. I think the line movement is wrong. I think that this is the wrong fighter favored. I think this is a spot where I lined Sarah McMahon at that -130 range. I love Clint from the Dire MMA podcast, but he just tweeted out he's on Lad Huge, and I typed back real quick saying, no. But this is a fun fight. I think from a betting perspective, I'm going to stay away from it. I'm going to be rostering Sarah McMahon a lot on DraftKings. I think that her floor is great. She has takedown upside, control time upside. And I think that if you did want to bet this fight, the best way to do so is playing Sarah McMahon when the line peaks at big plus money and hedging out by some Aspen Lad round 3. Because I do think that the biggest risk you have when you are betting Sarah McMahon is the age and the ability to go out there and fight consistently for 3 rounds. And if one thing Aspen Lad has best, and that is her ground and pound, it's a spot. Yeah, the pillow fisted screaming ground and pound. Sorry, but if she does have that, it's a spot where you're a bit worried if she gets on her in the 3rd round. But all right, 3 women's fights down. Let's move on to the next fight of the night, and it's another fun one. This is a questionable affair though. On this next one, Trevin Giles 14-4, Louis Kosey 7-1. This is a fun scrap. This is an interesting one though, and I know we just saw the other Kosey brother. It's been the brother trend recently, right? With the Bashrats, the Bone Fibs, and Dana White Contender Series. Well, brother number 2, Louis Kosey facing Trevin Giles. And Trevin Giles is one of the few names on my no bet list. He is not trustworthy, in my opinion. He's not one that I can necessarily go out there and rely on. So, with that being said, this is a very, very enticing money line. I'm going to let you talk about it. I think that from a pick perspective, gun to my head, I will pick Trevin Giles, but I do think there's some value in a guy in Louis Kosey. So I'm love to hear your thoughts on this one. Is you either going to push me towards a ledge here or help me off of it? How do you see this fight going down?
Gordo, I'll tell you this, man. When I first saw this line, I have backed Trevin Giles so much. I backed him against Dricus du Plessis. I backed him against. Yep, I backed him against freaking Michael Morales. And what does he always do? He shows that he can win the fight, and then he loses it like on purpose. Just be like, but I'm not gonna win today. Like, it's just crazy. And then you look at Kosei. So the one thing I wanted to say about Kosei, Wheezy brought this up on Stat Diggers, and I was really glad that he did because I thought this is important. We're all acting like Kosei has no gas. But realistically, why do we think that? We think that because he fought Sasha Palatnikov, and in the first round, he almost finished Sasha Palatnikov. And what did he do? He blew his load too fast, tired himself out, and became an easy finish. It was his UFC debut, right? Already, that's a big thing. Under the bright lights, we like to fade those kinds of guys. He was like a -3, 400 favorite going into that fight. UFC debuted against Palatnikov, and he gassed himself out. I don't think necessarily he's going to gas himself out here, but still I'm on Giles. Watching the tape, I don't see enough on Kosei where I'm like, Kosei can win this. Like, I know people are saying maybe he can knock out Giles early. Kosei is not Dricus du Plessis. Kosei is not Michael Morales. I think either of those two would beat Kosei. I really do. I don't think he's a power puncher like either of those fellas. And his wrestling is good, yes. Team Alpha Male, yes. But Trevin Giles has shown really good wrestling too. I'm blank. Gordo, maybe you remember. Did Giles take down du Plessis or was it Morales?
Yeah, I think he did. Let me pull up the stats to make sure. Yeah.
Right?
No, I think he reversed. I'm going to pull up the stats. I have them open right here.
Do it.
Trevin Giles. Yeah, because that was a very pivotal moment. No, you're right. Dricus took him down twice.
So it was du Plessis who took him down?
Yes.
Did he take down Morales?
Yes, he did take down Morales.
Okay, so that's what I'm remembering. So Morales, if you guys remember, is an Ecuadorian, national wrestling champion. And Trevin Giles took him down. So I do think that the wrestling isn't going to be that available for Kosei. And if we're stuck on the feet, I mean, I don't really see how Kosei's going to beat Trevin Giles unless Trevin Giles decides to beat himself. That's why I do not think anybody should bet Trevin Giles money line. I ended up parlaying him with your boy. We're going to talk about him in a bit. I got that Joe Pfeiffer. Sorry if I gave it away, but I got that parlay at -123. I played it for one unit, and that's all I'm going to do there. I've seen some people on Kosei inside the distance. I've seen some people on the fight doesn't go or the fight ends in round one. I just feel like this fight's going to play out very differently from what we think because we're all expecting Kosei to gas. But I think that was a very specific situation. And also it was 2 years ago, Gordo? So we haven't seen him. And he's young and he's training with his brother. We know that. We've seen his brother. So I think it's another spot to be really careful, but I feel like Trevin Giles, unless he beats himself, has to win this fight.
I'm proud of you. You're going down with the ship. Giles, if you back him once, you got to keep backing him. Good for you.
Oh, man.
It's a tough fight for me because I do think that Kosei is a very, very well-rounded fighter, but it's not like he does anything exceptionally well. And the problem with him versus his brother is we haven't seen him extended too much, right? I mean, look at the guy's record. He's getting a lot of really, really early finishes. And I think that Giles, although he pulls some stunts, is decently durable. So it's a spot where I'm going to have to stay away because I do think that Kosei is probably going to lose the fight, but I'm not going to bet on Trevin Giles, right? So he's on my no bet list, so I got to stay away. Mushrooms asked about the over 1.5. What are your thoughts on the totals?
I played it. The over 1.5 is -155 on Bet Online. -150. I'm looking now. I believe that's Caesars. The fact that I remember which line each book is really disgusting. But yeah, I love the over. I know people are saying they expect an early finish. I don't expect an early finish. I think that over 1.5 is a very generous line. I thought it would be over 2.5 for the over. Look, I really don't. Trevin Giles is a great striker, but he's not some power puncher. He's not. He's a technique guy. And Kosei, sure, yeah, he's a bit of a power puncher, but he's not this crazy finisher. Finishing Victor Reina doesn't suggest to me that you can finish Trevin Giles. So over 1.5, I honestly really like it. I played it for 1.55 unit just to win one. I think it's a really solid spot, honestly. I really do.
For sure. All power to you. I don't mind that spot there at all. There you go, Mushroom. But yeah, if this fight's on my no bet list, I'm not going to talk about it too much. Let's instead move on to the very, very next fight of the night. Damon Jackson, 21-4-1. Pat Sabatini, 17-3. Renzo Gracie, number one. That is the Philly guy, number one. And that is the undefeated Jim, hoping they can go again. And I do believe that Pat Sabatini does win this fight. The problem I have with this one is, full disclosure, this is probably the fight I have the least confidence in. It's a spot where I think Pat Sabatini rolls. I think he's the better grappler. I think he does everything that Damon Jackson does, just better. I think that the only advantage that Jackson has is he's a dog, and he's a guy who's going to go out there. He's going to fight for your money, and that's something for me that I do think he has the advantage over Sabatini. But the pick's going to be Sabatini. I do think he wins this fight at a pretty high clip, but it's going to be an interesting fight. I don't think I can get to a bet. Again, low conviction from me. The money seems to be coming in on the Damon Jackson side, at least. Oh, not anymore. Minus 78 is a bit shorter than I expected too. So got to refresh these lines more often. But I am going to be picking Pat Sabatini to win. I do think he wins this fight at a pretty high clip. It's just not what I'm saying with the most conviction. Are you able to put your foot down and let the people know your thoughts on this one?
All right, so I can't put my foot down because I'll explain, but I am going to make a play. I'm waiting on it. The one thing I'll note is I think Damon Jackson's actually a better striker than Sabatini by like a decent amount. I do. If you look at the striking of Sabatini, it's just so limited. Like it's so limited. I couldn't find enough things to write down on my notes to even tell you guys what on the striking he does that great. I personally don't think he does much great. Damon Jackson isn't some amazing striker, but at least he's putting together stuff on the feet, good combinations. His output's a bit low, which I don't love, but the combos are there. The jab is pretty good, and he strikes funky. He's hard to understand. It's hard to know what he's going to do next, and because he's got that grappling danger, people have to worry about that, and then maybe they're not as safe on the feet. Sabatini's not going to be worried about the grappling danger, obviously. Sabatini is legit. One thing I think is interesting about this fight is that both of these guys in their last fights were heavy favorites against people who we thought they'd run through and were given a challenge. Damon Jackson, he fought Dan Argueta on short notice. Dan Argueta was on The Ultimate Fighter. He's a 135er. And I don't remember the line, but I believe it was Jackson like minus 300 or more.
It ballooned up to about minus 600, 700 around fight time.
Yep. And I was one of those guys on Jackson because I thought he was just going to run through this guy. And he did not run through this guy. He did not. He had some difficulties. He showed that he can tire out. I was super surprised. But at the end of round 2, Jackson was done, man. Jackson was tired out. And then you look at the Charles Rosa fight, right? Round 1, domination from Jackson. 2, domination from Jackson. What happens in 3? He gets clipped in the head and starts bleeding profusely like a water fountain. I like Sabatini here. I feel like he should win this fight. I will probably play him. I'm waiting for that line to keep climbing. We're looking at minus 178, minus 180 now. I'm just worried. I'm pretty worried about that bet. I don't even know if I'll actually get there because, like I said, I do think Jackson's actually the better striker. But then you look at it and it's like, is Jackson going to keep it on the feet? I don't know. He fought Mirsad Bektic, and Bektic took him down all he wanted to. Then the next question is Sabatini as good of a wrestler as Bektic is? I don't know. So, look, Sabatini, long story short, Dan Gracie, like training under him, he's such an elite grappler. I backed him against Gavin Tucker because I knew he'd come through. I backed him against TJ Laramie because I knew he'd come through. And I'm going to back him again here because I think he's going to come through. But again, this is another spot where, as a favorite, I'm concerned because I don't think he has an edge in the striking. And like, for example, like it's not the best example, but last night, right? The Contender Series, Mario Sousa versus Ikram Aliskerov. Until Ikram got that takedown, what was happening? Sousa was piecing him up. He was piecing him up. So you got to be careful, man. You got to be careful. I do like Sabatini, though. Sorry if I'm long-winded, Gordo.
You're good, dude. Talk all you want because this is one, again, I don't have the most conviction on. I'm going to agree with Sabatini. With Mushroom. Sabatini should get this done. Let's keep that Gracie Jim. win streak going. That being said, on DraftKings, I don't think Jackson has the highest ceiling. I don't think I'm playing him too much as a dog. And Sabatini, I know a lot of people are on him. I know a lot of people disagree with you, but think that Sabatini is the better striker. They think that he is not only the better striker, but the better grappler. I think that people think
I want to talk to them
all over the place. But this is a spot where I'm going to stay away from. I'm going to enjoy. Official picks going to be Sabatini sub. However, I don't think it's as easy as everybody thinks. I think it's going to be a dog fight, and that's what Jackson does best. So close scrap. Either way, should be a fun one. All right, let's move on to the very, very main card. We got 6-fight main card, starting off with the Canadian 14-5 Marc-Andre Barriault, MAB, the power bar, versus 9-2 fluffy Anthony Hernandez. Anthony Hernandez will forever be known as the man who broke my heart when I bet on Vieira against him.
Me too.
Great submission. All power to you, but man, why did that have to be then? This is an interesting spot, and we broke this down a lot on the Post-Sport Radio show. This is a spot where we think that we primarily have a striker versus grappler. We have a guy in Fluffy Hernandez who will proactively go for takedowns over and over again, nonstop, and a guy in Marc-Andre Barriault who is also nonstop, but in his way, the striking. Nonstop striking, nonstop takedowns. What side do you favor?
Yeah, man, I'm on Hernandez here. I was listening to the Stat Stiggers. As a podcaster myself, I consume a ton of podcasts. I listen to everybody. I love doing that. I think it's really important, honestly, because we are not the smartest person on the planet. There's always somebody smarter than us and always somebody noticing something that we do not. And Wheezy, like me, loves the volume grapplers. He's obsessed with JSP, Hernandez. Me too. Hernandez doesn't necessarily fit under that for me. I did bet Joshua Fremd against Hernandez, and that was a mistake. I ended up losing that bet. So for this fight, it's interesting. I do think this one's super interesting. I taped it last night, and I taped it for real last night. I already had a play on. I'm on Hernandez. I already played him. Minus 170. I played him for a unit, and I played him with our guy Joe Pfeiffer, who I'm super excited to break down whenever that comes up. That's parlayed for a unit too. Look, this is what I'm thinking. Marc-Andre Barriault is the better striker, in my opinion. I watched as much as I could. I really do think he's the better striker. But he just fought Jordan Wright. And of all things that Jordan Wright does not wrestle. Jordan Wright took him down 2 times. He took him down 2 times. That is ridiculous. It's not a good look. And a guy like Hernandez, his striking's not good. I was looking for a reason to say his striking's also better, but it's not. I don't think it's better. I think his striking's very limited. But that pressure, he won't stop. You have 2 choices when you fight Anthony Hernandez. Either finish him or go through hell. And I don't see Marc-Andre Barriault finishing Anthony Hernandez. So I think it's more than likely that Hernandez probably wins this by decision. I'm probably going to hit that sub prop too. I'm looking at your what you got open right now. They're not. So I usually look for FanDuel because they're the ones that give us crazy props. I will probably be looking for the prop for the Hernandez sub. I just think he's going to break this guy over 3 rounds. The thing is, Marc-Andre Barriault is usually the guy breaking people over 3 rounds. So that's why I think it's going to get really, really, really interesting. Because it's like, whose cardio is going to really hold up better here? I'm not positive. I'd be very careful going crazy on Hernandez. I say this as a man with 2 units on Hernandez. I would just be cautious because I do think if he can't take Barriault down, I think it's going to be a greasy, greasy, greasy fight.
I think it's going to be a fun one. And this is literally the battle of 2 guys who like to break people, whether it be one of them through wrestling in Hernandez and one of them through striking in Marc-Andre Barriault. I think that this is another spot where we have to look at the differences, right? I think that the takedown difference is massive for Hernandez, and that is why he's the favorite. But on the feet, I think if Barriault's smart doing his research, we talked about this on Pub Sport Radio, the body shot's what he's has to go for. I think that the best chance for a finish in the entire fight is a body shot by Marc-Andre Barriault. Hernandez seems to be very weak there. Very durable guy up top, but his finishes have been to the body. This is one where I'm looking. Anthony said it right here. Mushrooms talk about all these overs. I'm on the over here. And I really am, because I do think these are very, very 2 durable guys. I think that, sure, Hernandez could lock up a sub, but Barriault has shown pretty good sub defense. He's shown the ability to get up over again, which is kind of why I like Hernandez on DraftKings, because those takedowns are going to come over and over again. But I do think he's able to stay safe on the ground. I think the finish more so comes from the Barriault side. And even at that, I think it's not going to come very often. I'm on the fight starts round 3. I took the fight starts round 3 minus 135. I took that instead of the over 2.5. I saved myself 2.5 minutes. Who knows how tired they'd be? I think this is going to be a very hectic pace. And that is why I took the fight starts round 3. With that being said, on DraftKings, this is a very, very fun fight to target. Not only is Hernandez going to have multiple takedown upside, he's going to have the opportunity to win this fight through his control, to his takedowns, really high ceiling, but he's going to accrue a lot of ownership. I think that Marc-Andre Barriault is going to go very overlooked, very low ownership, the opportunity to go out there and find those shots to the bodice. I think he has more finish equity than his opponent in this spot. And I think that with such low ownership and the somewhat of finish opportunity here, which he's probably going to need if he's pushing forward the whole time, he definitely has a high ceiling too. So a fun fight to target on DraftKings, a not so fun fight that I'm hoping for in terms of a betting perspective because I'm playing the over, but nonetheless, a very, very fun fight to open up the main card. All right, let's get her going. That's Canadian number 2. Let's go Canadian number 3. Tanner Boser, 28-1. Rodrigo Nascimento, 8-1. And I have picked both Canadians to win. Actually, no, I picked Hernandez, so maybe not. But this is another one where we have a heavyweight, and this is a 265 bout. Big boys. And I'll pull up the odds here because it's an interesting one. The under 2.5 was at plus money at one point, I think. And that is what really got me because does Nascimento have the ability to go 3 rounds? Does he have the ability to go?
I got that line, bro. I got that line.
You know what? Tell me about it. What are your thoughts on this fight?
All right. I mean, when I saw under 2.5 at minus 108, it really came down to this. I forgot who was fighting, and I looked at the weight class. I mean, we're at heavyweight. Forget about anything else. We're literally at heavyweight. How often do you see under 2.5 on a heavyweight fight at minus 108? I mean, the line movement reflects what I'm saying, right? Like it opened at minus 108, and now the line for under 2.5 is minus 185. Like, look, I went into this fight, and it was another spot where I was like, I'm going to hammer Tanner Boser. Tanner Boser coming in with a chip off his shoulder after that terrible loss to what's his face? No neck. What's his name, Gordo? I'm blanking right now.
Latifi.
Yes, Latifi. First of all, I had Latifi there, but I think Boser won that fight. All right. But regardless, I really went into this thinking Boser was going to spark this guy. Boser coming in with a chip on his shoulder. Boser being a fast striker. Boser being a good striker. But once I started watching it, I remembered everything. And I remembered why I never liked backing Boser to begin with. I fade Boser all the time. Why? He's undersized. I think he's really undersized for heavyweight. I think he's going to be undersized here. I know that the size only says that Nascimento is 1 inch taller, but if you look at Nascimento's fight against Gordo, who'd Nascimento submit? Dontel Mays.
Yes.
If you look at the Dontel Mays fight, right? Dontel Mays was much bigger than Nascimento on paper. But in the fight, if you look at the tape, if you watch them fighting, they look almost the same size. So if you're telling me that Dontel Mays is 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", and then Nascimento's next to him and he's at most an inch smaller, like I think that height is wrong. And we've seen with the UFC. Look at Jairzinho Rosenstruck, 6'3". He's my height. The guy's 5'9". So it happens. And I think that it's going to happen here again. I think we're going to be surprised at the size difference. And Boser, as much as I wanted to back him with that chip on his shoulder, he came into the OSP fight with that chip, right? He came into the OSP fight knowing he needed a finish because he keeps losing these stupid decisions to Arlovsky and Latifi. And what does he do? He takes really long to finish a guy who's not even striking. Like, if you watch that fight, OSP wasn't doing anything. He wasn't doing anything at all. Just nothing. And Boser he took 2 rounds to get him out of there. So I think that if Boser comes in here, round number 1, and just goes after it, he can get it. But he got taken down by OSP. Nascimento is a really good grappler. I think that's live as well. And on the feet, after watching it, even though I thought Boser was a clearly better striker, I'm not convinced. So I ended up playing Nascimento. I played him for a half unit, and I'm going to tell you the line right now, Gordo. Oh man, I'm a prick. I didn't even put it on my bet MMA page, so I don't know what I bet him at. It's on my Twitter. I'd have to go look. I'm not trying to take that time right now to go look at it. It's not on my bet MMA, unfortunately. But I did get Nascimento at plus odds. I think it was 150-ish. I like to bet on guys who have more weapons. I think he's just as live on the feet as Bozer is. And if we grapple, I think it's Nascimento. So, Gordo, I see you. I see you thinking.
You are picking against every single Canadian today. You're just against them.
Canadians have lost me too much money, Gordo. They've lost me too
So
much
it is
money.
personal. It is personal. No, I think this is a spot where I definitely get it. I went onto the show and the Post Radio show again, bringing that up. And I said one of my favorite GPP plays was Rodrigo Nascimento, and I think that because he has the ability to go out there, use his size, take down Tanner Boser, and really implement that. I will disagree. I do think that Tanner Boser does have a pretty good advantage on the feet, just because I think he has a much better in and out movement, a much better speed. He's a very fast striker for heavyweight, not with the most power, but with a lot of speed. All that to say that I think that Nascimento is very, very live for about 6-7 minutes. I think that as the fight goes on, Tanner Boser is going to be able to use that size, use his evasiveness, use his cardio as a weapon, and finish this fight. I think this fight doesn't last very long, but I think that the longer it goes, you favor Tanner Boser, the smaller guy, the guy with more speed, more athleticism.
Can you believe what they opened the under at?
No, I can't. And I did my research too late, and I missed it.
What was that?
I don't know. Same. I'm jealous. But I have no action on this one because I have some ownership on Nascimento on DraftKings. I'm pretty high on him because I think that his ceiling is super high. And with him winning at 7.4K, it's going to put you into optimal. And his win condition is massive. So gun to my head, I'm picking Tanner Boser. I think that he has the ability to survive. I think he's got, even though he doesn't have the best get-up game, I think he has decent evasiveness, takedown defense in order to survive there. I know his takedown defense doesn't look great, but I don't think that Nascimento runs through the takedowns the same way Latifi does. I think that Boser is going to be completely on the run, ability to tire out Nascimento. I think he makes him fall around the cage. So give me Tanner Boser. I'm going to say late round 2 finish, early round 3. I think he puts his striking on display and looks to try to how do I say this nicely? Unfortunately, loses you some more money to a Canadian.
It's all good, man. My gut here was Boser. My gut here was Boser 1,000,000%. It was my brain that took me off. So who knows?
I don't mind your spot. I'll be playing some Nascimento on DraftKings, but no bet for me on this one. Official pick will be Tanner Boser, though. All right, let's get to the fight that we've been waiting to talk about.
This is the fight.
The fight. And this requires a special look of attire for me here. First of all, before I do this, shout out to everybody in the chat who's hanging out here with us right now. I know we just had Anthony saying, appreciate all the content. I appreciate you for tuning in, man. We do this all for you guys. I know that Mike's going to be doing another show later tonight. We love doing the content. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. All right. If you guys follow me on Twitter, I put out a tweet 3 weeks ago saying I was going to have my biggest ever bet. After talking with powerful minds in people and WizBet, Liam Picks Fights, Die Hard MMA, all these important guys, Lou Betcha, we took a different path. And what I have instead is now 10 units tracked, spread across different methods on Joseph Pyfer. You won't find me as passionate about a fight as you will for this one. I think that this is a complete lapse of judgment, and it's a hard one because the difference in my projected line is huge, although the only difference between me picking this guy and me picking a dog is I'm choosing a guy who's a minus 400 favorite, and there is chalk to pay. I think if we look at this fight, the chances of Alan Amedovski winning this fight are slim to none. I gave him a 5% chance to win this fight, which is harsh. You're a UFC fighter. You're a UFC fighter. Any UFC fighter can beat me up. I know that. But not only is Alan Amedovski one of the worst fighters I've seen, his only win condition doesn't play into this. And I'm talking a lot of shit here, and I'm going to knock on wood because I'm superstitious. But Alan Amedovski's only path to victory is to knock out Joe Pyfer early round 1. The problem with fighting Joe Pyfer is he has a brick for a head. he's shown to be decently durable. Not only that, he is the more skilled fighter everywhere. We look at this from an intangible standpoint. Joe Pyfer is not only the more durable fighter, but he has the better cardio, the better output, better minute winning, better grappling, better wrestling, better technicality, and decent power in his own right. I think that he has Alan Amedovski covered everywhere. I think he can go out there, finish him, get a quick win bonus, score 130 points on DraftKings doing so. And I think that this may be one of the most egregious setup spots that you'll ever see. If Joseph Holmes is able to make Alan Amedovski look like an absolute tool, Joe Pyfer is going to put him through the ground. They're pushing the Joe Pyfer narrative. They're saying, hey, if you put on a show in Dana White Contender Series, if you look that good, we're going to reward you. And this is how they're doing it. A guy who's one fight away from being out the door in Alan Amedovski versus a guy with insane power, great wrestling, Renzo Gracie. Joe Pyfer is that guy this weekend. And it's unfortunate he's at 9.7K on DraftKings. Now let's talk about this real quick. Before I let you go, before I let you break this down with me as well, I have 4 units on Joe Pyfer at -184. I parlayed him with Aleskarov yesterday. I then have 3 units on him parlayed with Magomedov, who already happened. So I have 4 units on him at -185, 3 units on him at -125. And then I added today 3 units on Joe Pyfer to win in rounds 1 or 2, which is -160 on DraftKings. Now, the best part about this is I have 10 units staked. I'm about to win it. If it goes through, if all goes to plan, I should win around 6.5. That is what I'm going to. The best thing about this, though, is what's the win condition from Alan Amedovski? Is a round 1 knockout. He doesn't have the cardio to go through it. He doesn't have the win condition to win a decision. He needs a round 1 knockout. And you can hedge that at +2,000. It was +2,500 yesterday, a Alan Amedovski round 1 KO. And I got it at +2,000. So now, not only do I have a covered bet that'll win me 6 units if it goes through, but if Alan Amedovski does the impossible and he pulls off a first round knockout, I win 10 units off that and I cover my ass. I think it was the perfect hedge opportunity. I am so excited for this fight. They are pushing the Joe Pyfer narrative, and I do think that he disposes of Alan Amedovski accordingly. I can now put off the shades. I am very disappointed I did not get a good line in the under 1.5 because that was supposed to be my lock of the night. I've been eyeing that for months, weeks. Instead, I do have 10 units on Joe Pyfer, which is unheard of. I have a 10-unit scale. So this is a big moment for me. I'm really putting my foot down, and it is on a chalk spot, which is unfortunate. I hope you agree with me.
All right, Gordo. So, I mean, I do agree with you for sure. I do. So, I actually I forgot what I was going to say, but I'll say this. I do think that Joe Pyfer, I don't see a way that he loses this fight, man. Like I said multiple times this stream, if you're going to bet an underdog, you need a path. And what the hell is Amedovski's path going to be here? You watch his tape. He has these T-Rex arms, right? His striking's not bad, but he can't reach his opponents. He's having a hard time reaching his opponents. And Pyfer's going to be landing all day. Pyfer's also the significantly better grappler. I mean, it's not even close. Now he trains under Dan Gracie. And you look at Amedovski, my God, the takedown defense is just non-existent. The defensive grappling is just non-existent. How does Pyfer lose? Like you said, Pyfer can only lose this if Amedovski knocks him the hell out in round number 1. I did get lucky enough to snag Amedovski round 1 KO at +2,500. I did get that line. I got that for a 0.1 unit. I placed a 1/10 of a unit to win 2.5. But that's only because I'm already backing Pyfer. I've got Pyfer parlayed in 2 different parlays, total stake of 2 units. And I played him for his submission prop today because it finally came out on FanDuel. I got I'm looking at your screen, +550. That's the line I got. I think that's a highway robbery. Bet Online opened that line at +250. Look, Pyfer is such a good grappler. Look at the Ozzy Diaz fight. He almost submitted him multiple times. And Amedovski, he can strike. He can strike. His grappling is awful. Awful. If Pyfer gets him down, it's a sub immediately, in my opinion. So I think your max bet's there, Gordo. I feel you because I just max bet this past weekend. I max bet Irene Aldana, and that sucked. That sucked. We got a 10-8. Then we lost a round. Then it looked like we were losing round number 3. And then we got some crazy freaking kick. So my max bet hit. I think your max bet has a much, much better chance of hitting here. It's like I keep saying, you need a path for the underdog, and there's no path here for Amador. There just isn't. I don't even think he can get that round 1 KO. I don't.
I love it. I'm happy to hear that. Despite all the confidence I have, and this is the most confident read I've had in a fighter pretty much ever, which is terrifying. I think I even capped Chase Sherman with a better chance to beat Romanov than this. So it's a spot where, although I am super confident in it, like nerves are kind of going to come up, right? It's like my record's on the line here. I'll look like an idiot if this doesn't come through. So I'm happy to go. But what did I do say last week? I said last week, if I lose my lock of the night, I'll smash the same thing. If I lose this bet, I'll smash these glasses on stream. We'll do that.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare. I like the glasses.
I've got a backup pair right here. We can duel these things. It's a slick move. No one knows.
You got more than one.
You know, the ability to go in and do it. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun fight. It's probably the one I'm looking forward to the most. Not only due to my money I have on it, just think it's gonna be a really fun fight. But all right, let's move on. We got 3 fights left. 3 fun fights left. This next one though, Andre Fili 21-9, Bill Algeo 16-6. Let's pull up the odds right now, and we have almost a line fight. This line has moved all over the place. All right, I'll keep this short and sweet. No real conviction, no bet. This is one that I'm going to stay away from. The official prediction is going to be Andre Fili by decision. And that is my pick. I think that although I say that, and I say it with decent confidence, it's a spot where you have to also look the fact that Algeo is never out of a fight. He's got good pressure. I just think that Fili has more tools. I think he's the better technical striker, the rangier striker, takedown upside in his own right. I think he has a bounce back spot here, and people are too low on him after that last loss. I would have loved to grab some Andre Fili at plus 140. Not there. If it gets back to plus money, I will play him. I just think I missed the boat. What are your thoughts on this one, Mike?
Yeah, man. So for me, Bill Algeo and Julian Erosa are twins. They're twins. People don't talk about it enough. Like, there's these MMA twins, right? People who are not related or anything, and they just remind you of each other, right? And this is a case for me, Julian Erosa, Bill Algeo. I put this on my Twitter. I hope they fight at some point. I think it'll be epic. But everything I said about Erosa last week applies here again. Bill Algeo brings that pressure. Bill Algeo has that dog in him. Bill Algeo has that output. At the end of the day, who's the more technical striker? Fili. Who do I think is going to find more success? Algeo. Do I think Fili's going to be taking Algeo down? Yes. Do I think he's going to hold him down? No. So what I did was I played Bill Algeo plus 115. I only played him for 1 unit. I think that pressure, I think that the striking, I think the output can all add up and get that victory here against Andre Fili, who I am a truther of Fili. I backed him against Charles Jourdain, but I think there's limitations, and I think that Bill Algeo over 3 rounds can win this fight. Mushroom saying Algeo sub. I did look at that, but I feel like it's not good enough. So I'm not going to play that, but I did play Algeo money line.
Did you just take the chance opportunity to mention you faded another Canadian in Charles Jourdain?
I didn't even notice that. Gordo, I'm sorry, but you guys are so bad at MMA. You guys are so bad at MMA.
Ever since GSP left, man, I miss someone good.
It's okay. Ukrainians are trash at MMA also, so it's all good.
Anyways, no, I like your spots in this one. Algeo's a guy you can never count out, and you got to respect that. I mean, I took the DraftKings shot on Herbert Burns. I thought he'd be able to put him out there, and Algeo showed, you know what, that dog in him. And I think it's a good spot for him to go out there and look to win this fight. I think that is a very, very close one, and I think that he is, you know what, I just think the line is a bit off here. I think that it's people are high on Algeo after that last fight, and they're low on Fili after that last fight. I capped it at Fili minus 160. With that being said, Algeo's a guy I don't like to bet against because he has that dog in him. Official prediction, Fili decision. However, I will not be betting unless the line gets a bit closer. All right? All right. 2 fights left. 2 bangers left. Starting off with the violent one of the two, Chidi and Jaquani, holding a professional record of 22-7. Gregory Rodriguez 12-4. Okay. How do I put this? Last fight that they talked about, Gregory Rodriguez, I took him off the no bet list because originally he wasn't on the no bet list after not shooting a takedown against Aaron Petrosian. He's back on the bet list because I am taking him to win this fight here. I think that is the spot where, sure, Chidi Njokuani has power. There's no discrediting that. But the guy with the more tools, the guy with the more aspects, multi-level faceted part of MMA is going to be Mr. Gregory Rodriguez. Plus 108. I'll definitely be playing that. I was hoping to get even higher. I don't know. The line's kind of going back and forth here, so I am all over the place. However, I do think that Gregory Rodriguez wins this fight. I think people are really, really high on Chidi Njokuani, but I'm not high on Dusko. I'm not a big fan of Dusko. So that win and the win over MAB, sure, you crack that chin, good for you. I just think that there's a lot more for him to prove, and I think Gregory Rodriguez is going to really push the pace. Getting him at plus money is a steal, in my opinion. I'm on the Gregory Rodriguez side. Are you with me on this one, or are we disagreeing the whole day?
We're together, brother. We're together here. I'm a huge Barack Obama fan. I don't love his. I have no opinion on his politics, but on his fighting, Barack Obama is great. The BJJ is there. The striking is there. I'm a huge Chitty guy. I hate betting on fights where I like backing both guys. I really don't like doing that. But I did play Gregory Rodriguez. I got him plus 114. I played him for a unit. Look, I think that the striking is close, but I think that the grappling is not even close. I don't think it's even close. You look at Chitty, right? He's looked great in the UFC, but against who? Dusko Todorovic, a striker. Marc-Andre Barriault, a striker. Mario Sousa, mostly a striker. And then I don't personally remember Christian Torres all that well, but I do know Rafael Carvalho, who he lost to, who out-grappled him. And I do know that John Salter rear naked choked him. So I do think that Obama can hold his own on the feet here. And I think that if it gets to the ground, it's Obama all day. So Gregory Rodriguez for me, money line, plus 114, 1 unit. I love it. I'm probably going to play his sub prop as well. I love Chitty, but I think we're overrating him a little bit. He knocked out Mario Sousa, who's still not in the UFC, Barriault, and Todorovic. It doesn't mean much to me. So I am on Rodriguez with you, Gordo.
For sure. And so is Papa Chalk to let me some Robamaka here. Robobamaka. There we go. It's a spot where I do my tape and I have to throw it out the window because the Chidi we see now has definitely made leaps and bounds of improvement. And he's really progressed as an MMA fighter. However, I think this is a progression too high. Give me Gregory Rodriguez in a fun fight. However, if he does not shoot takedowns here and if he just wants to strike, even though he's losing, he will go back in the no bet list. No questions asked. All right, let's get over to the main event of the evening. The last one, Corey Sandhagen, 14-4, Song Yadong, 19-6-1. I love me some Song Yadong, man. Not here, though. I am on the Corey Sandhagen side. I do want to play the 4-5 decision. The only reason I have not played the 4-5 decision yet, I don't even think it's on best fight odds, is because I've done that twice before this year, and they have both lost. And I feel like every time I bet on them 4-5 decision, they're cursed. Do you want to know who I bet 4-5 decision? I bet Kadar over Emmett, who I thought got robbed. Well, not robbed, but I think he won the fight.
He got robbed. I was there live. So maybe I'm even more biased. But he got robbed.
I went up to, I met Calvin Kattar at UFC 278. So I went and shook his hand. I go, hey, I thought you won that last fight. He goes, me too, man. You got to tell Josh that. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I also bet the 4-5 decision on Tarzukian versus Gamrot. And I also thought Tarzukian won that too a bit. So that one was a bit closer though. Either way, I don't want to curse him here. I do think Corey Sandhagen wins this fight. I think that he has the better mixed martial artist game. I think he's the better minute winner, better volume, better output, better grappling, better top control, better submissions. I think Song Yadong has power. I think he has technicality, but sometimes power doesn't matter when the guy's as durable as Corey Sandhagen. It's a moment versus minute winner. I'm taking the minute winner. I'm taking Corey Sandhagen. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'm on the same side, man. I'm on Corey Sandhagen. I was watching the tape, and honestly, recently, in the last fight, Song Yadong looks amazing. He looks amazing. I mean, the combination he put out Marlon Moraes with was just next level. That shit was so clean. I had to slow it down and replay it 3 times. But I think Sandhagen wins this fight, man. I do. you're going to fight Peter Yan over 5 rounds and make it a close fight. And then you're telling me that you're going to be close against Song Yadong? I don't think so. They don't. Song Yadong, like, I've seen some people talk about the grappling, right? I've seen some people say Song Yadong can grapple him. Peter Yan defended 6 of 7 takedowns against Aljamain Sterling in their first fight. Against Corey Sandhagen, Peter Yan gave up 2 takedowns. If I remember correctly, it was 2. That's pretty crazy. To me, that's pretty crazy. As a Peter Yan truther, supporter, diehard, that was legit. And I think that if Song Yadong can't finish Corey Sandhagen, this is Corey all day long. He's the better striker. He's bigger. He's more experienced. Song Yadong, he's young. And I understand that he's had all these fights because they start at 12 years old in China. But that inexperience still shows. It still shows against guys like Casey Kenny, people like that. It's still showing, and I do think that Corey Sandhagen on the feet is going to win this fight. So I'm on Sandhagen. I'm waiting on the odds to move a bit more. I am going to play him money line, but yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
That's what I was thinking, man. Is like I can play that 4-5 decision, but that money's still coming in. It's minus 180 now. It's only looking like it's getting better. I see a lot of love for Song Yadong, and while I do give him credit for his technical abilities and his power, unfortunately, I do not think he has the ability to win the MMA fight aspect of this on the judges' scorecards. All right, dude. An hour and 15 minutes in, we are done the full card DFS breakdown. Now, there's 2 things I want from you before you leave. I would love the opportunity for you to shout out your channel, shout out where everybody can find you, but also let everybody know what your quick picks are. So just go over your prediction, your winner for every single fight. While you pull that up, that Tapology, so you can see there, I'll go over mine real quick. I'll give you guys the official prediction each way, but we're going to go Cameron Van Camp to pull the upset. I'm going to take him by round 2 submission. We're going to talk about Javid Bashrat versus Tony Gravely. We're going to take Javid Bashrat by round 2 submission once again. Robertson versus Agapova. We're taking Robertson by, guess what? A submission again. Zellhuber Ogden. We're going to take Zellhuber by decision. We're going to take Loma by decision over Gomez. We're going to take McMahon decision over Ladd. We're going to take Giles. This is what I'm debating on. I think I'm going to take round 3 KO for Giles, but I could go decision as well. Pat Sabatini submission. This is where it gets tricky because I'm picking Hernandez to win, and we're going to say Hernandez decision, but that body shot's always there for Barrio. We're going to say round 2 KO for Tanner Bozer, round 1 submission for Joseph Pfeiffer, decision win for Andre Fili. Let's say round 2 KO for Gregory Rodriguez, and a decision win for Corey Sandhagen. There's 14 fights, 14 predictions, 14 winners. Hopefully they all come through. What about you?
All right, so I'm not going to give 14 picks. I'll give you guys every play I have already listed on betmma.tips. I've got Gregory Rodriguez plus 114 for 1 unit. I've got Bill Algeo plus 115 for 1 unit. I've got Anthony Hernandez minus 171 unit. I've got Zellhuber minus 119, 2 units. I've got Agapova plus 115, 1 unit. Bashrat minus 110, 2.2 units. And Van Camp plus 211, a half unit. And my parlays are Hernandez Pfeiffer. My parlay is Giles Pfeiffer. Those are the only 2 I've got live right now. And I played Bozer Nascimento under 2.5 at minus 108. I don't think you should play it at these odds. I got very, very lucky. I try to post it as soon as I play it. So follow me on @CouchWarriorPod. And yeah, other than that, I don't have much. I got the Pfeiffer sub plus 550, Rodriguez sub plus 500, and Amidovsky hedge plus 2,500 for around 1 TKO. And that's me, Gordo.
Fair play. I like it. I'm trying to give a Mushroom these DGen parlays. I know you just talked about all your parlay legs there. So if you want to know anything more about what he's doing, Mushroom, his picks were just there. What's his third leg? I'm trying to give him plus money stuff. I got to be a bit different here. And last but not least, we're just going to go with, let's go Sandhagen decision or 4-5 decision kind of thing. But we're just going to go decision for this. There you go. Plus 1,500 Mushroom. There you go. I think those are 3 props that are going that I might pull the trigger on. I think they're unpopular ones. Like, I think everyone's looking over the Look Boomy decision. I think it's not getting as much love. I think that this Van Camp fight ends inside the distance. That'll most likely be my lock of the night. So there you go. And then I think that Sandhagen wins 4-5 decision. We'll take decision for the Hail Mary. But that's going to do it here. And yes, parlay over parlay over parlay for Mr. Mushroom. And that's why we love him. He's always here showing love. So thank you to him for tuning in and showing some love. But last thing to do is let them know where they find you. I know that 10:30 you'll be going live. I hope to be in the live stream chat to hear your thoughts with you and a very sharp man and lucrative. Let them know where they can find you and what else you got going on.
Yes, sir. So I'll be going live at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time today. So in an hour with Lucrative MMA, the man, super sharp. Make sure to tune in. And yeah, you can follow me on CouchWarriorPod on Twitter. That's where I post all my picks as soon as I make them. If you follow me, you already know sometimes I'm posting picks at like 3, 4 in the morning. Because when I find it, I post it. Because if I beat a line, I want you guys to beat a line. So at Couch Warrior Pod, Couch Warrior Podcast on YouTube. Make sure to follow Gordo. I mean, this guy's an animal. And Dana White, the Dana White Contender Series too. But the fantasy, the DraftKings, check this guy out, guys. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for watching me over here. Gordo, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it big time. You're muted, bro. You're muted.
Oh, no, I can't end it like that. Anyways, I was saying thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for giving everybody your plays. I really appreciate you coming on. I had a blast doing so. As for me, DraftKings videos should be uploaded whenever I find the time, probably tomorrow morning. Let's say early tomorrow morning. I will tweet it out when it does. Everything I post, everything I talk about at GamblesGordo on Twitter, that's where you can find me. One more thing I got to say. First of all, I did hit 500 subs yesterday, so happy for that. But then someone unsubscribed to me, so I'm at 499. So if you guys could get me back to 500, everybody here, that'd be great. I would really appreciate that. I'm one away, guys. That'd be awesome. I really enjoy doing these videos. I should have a ton of content out for you guys. In terms of other stuff I'm doing, I just did my DFS breakdown. Again, I will post it soon. I have a NASCAR stream. I did it with Ryan Larkin last week, and he gave out the literal winner for plus 2,000 last week, and he's looking to do it again. So hopefully I have that. It'll be tomorrow at 11 a.m. Current MMA best bets, Dana White Contender Series, all that again on Twitter at GamblesGordo. But I hope everybody enjoyed the video. I hope everybody liked it enough to subscribe to the channel, show some love down below. Hope you guys enjoyed having Mike on. Go show him some love. Go check out his video later tonight as well. And with that, guys, great fun slate tomorrow. If you guys have any questions, hit me up on Twitter. If you guys, thank you very much, Big One Trainer. I really appreciate that. We did it, 500. I'm very happy. There we go. Hopefully that's just the beginning of it, and we'll keep on going. I love doing these videos each and every week. So thank you to the usuals in the chat. Thank you everybody for checking it out. But with that, enjoy the fights. Good luck on your bets. Show some love to Mike, and let's make some money, guys. Peace.